Can we make new highs if tech doesn't resume its leadership role anywhere close to the degree that it had?
As long as tech is a market performer, if tech actually declines, that's going to be hard for the rest of the S&P 500 to compensate. But what we've seen so far, including days like Nvidia and Tesla recently, is that tech is actually holding its own, but other stocks are starting to show catalysts and signs of life.
Yeah. What about the broadening trade? I mean, look, you look at the Russell, your big call, of course. Week to date's down more than 1%. Really hasn't done much at all. I kept hearing, hey, you got to wait till the Fed cuts. Then you go into the Russell. I don't know. What do you think? Well,
Russell had a big week last week. It's some profit taking now, but I think that there's, this is what bottoms look like. I don't think bottoms are straight up. I know in 2021, energy was bottoming, and it was also very choppy, but eventually made not only new highs, but then basically had a blistering gain in 2020, in the year following. So I think that's a multi-year start for the Russell. It feels choppy, but we're still near all-time highs, and there's a big fundamental case to own small caps.
And you're still not necessarily sticking with the 50% up for small caps, but you still think they could have a huge move because they tend to move quickly.
That's right. I think what investors have to remember is small caps have been out of favor a long time, and they are known for having explosive rallies that are not abnormal. So last year was a 27% rally over really 20 trading days. I think we could see something very big between now and year end. I was hoping it would be after the Fed started the rate easing cycle, but maybe it really has to happen after Election Day. But are the fundamentals getting stronger for small caps? Absolutely, because interest rates are falling, merger activity likely picks up, and the median PE of a Russell 2000 stock is 10 times, 10.7 times. I mean, that's not demanding, especially if we're trying to be sensitive to valuation.
The whispers of an imminent stock rally have begun to echo through Wall Street corridors, and Nvidia finds itself at the heart of this seismic stir. While Nvidia's Hopper and Blackwell GPUs are capturing headlines, the air is thick with anticipation as industry analysts, tech enthusiasts, and investors alike await the unfolding of Nvidia's financial odyssey. With its strategic focus on AI technologies, Nvidia has consistently redefined the contours of computing, and if predictions are anything to go by, its third-quarter performance could set yet another benchmark. Amidst potential risks, Nvidia's stock dynamics remain captivating, offering a unique splash of drama in the stock market opera. But what's truly intriguing is not just the performance statistics, but the substantial yet divided sentiments among deep-pocketed investors. These mystery players are signaling dramatic moves, further fueling the buzz surrounding Nvidia's prospects. Welcome back, everyone, to Investocracy.
As big tech and AI startups in the U.S. race to get their hands on Nvidia's long-awaited Blackwell chips, the Japanese tech conglomerate SoftBank will be the first to receive them, and announced yesterday by Jensen Huang and Masayoshi Son. That's what the subject of is today for today's Tech Check. Deirdre Bosa's got that. Hey, Dee.
Hey, good morning, Carl. So Masa-san, he is never one to be left out of a major tech shift. So being first to Blackwell on stage with AI kingmaker Jensen Huang was a very on-point way for him to show the world that he hasn't lost his touch. Also raising the question, why SoftBank and Masa-san and not an OpenAI or a Google who are at the forefront of LLM advancements? A source tells me it was simple. SoftBank's order was early and it was large. Here's Jensen Huang himself in Tokyo overnight.
Masa is the only entrepreneur, only innovator in the world that has selected the winner and partnered with the winner in every single generation. Remember, it was Masa that brought Bill Gates to Japan. It was Masa that invented or brought Jerry Yang to Japan. It was Masa that made possible for China's cloud industry to happen, Alibaba. It was Masa that brought Steve Jobs to Japan and the iPhone. And many of you probably don't know this, but at one point, Masa was the largest shareholder of Nvidia. Yes. Oh. It's okay. We can cry together.
don't think Jensen is crying quite as much. It's a record from Masa-san that's also had some major misses over the years as well, like WeWork, and selling his Nvidia stake way too early. Hence, that was what that crying was about. But Masa-san, he always bets big, and now he's turning his attention to AI and what he is calling artificial superintelligence, which goes beyond AGI by surpassing human intelligence across all domains, including creativity and emotional intelligence. This slide from SoftBank's latest quarter saying that ASI will contribute to the happiness of all humanity. A very controversial and ambitious endeavor that does need the most powerful AI chips to build a supercomputer. And Masa-san, now he's betting on Blackwell to do that. For Nvidia, it comes just as this debate is really heating up over whether AI advancements have peaked. A big deal with SoftBank lets Huang and Nvidia diversify away from its large U.S. customers to new opportunities in sovereigns like Japan. Now, given the demand that Huang has indicated for Blackwell in recent weeks and months, it will be very interesting to hear from him on next week's earning call on where the most opportunity is right now. Has that really shifted from mega cap tech to newer entrants like SoftBank and Japan?
Nvidia, a titan in the semiconductor domain, stands at an interesting juncture. Known for its cutting-edge GPUs, the firm seems poised for a financial leap. As Yanis Zourampanos predicts a potential rally, Nvidia might soon cast a monetary spell, enrapturing investors. Let's delve deep. Nvidia has forecasted a staggering $32.5 billion revenue, courtesy of its high-demand GPUs, Hopper and Blackwell. Amid these prospects, it's almost humorous to think once its GPUs were seen just as game enhancers. Now, they're almost prophets of profit in the AI advent. Nvidia's data center segment, boasting a striking 68% margin, speaks volumes about its operational efficiency. The excitement doesn't stop there. Even amidst supply chain uncertainties, Nvidia's bullish trend is underscored by quantifiable data. Analysts are optimistic, with Joseph Moore from Morgan Stanley sharing consensus estimates at 74 cents per share, aligning with Nvidia's stellar track record. But before we go any further, if you want to keep up with Nvidia's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times daily about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market. So click the follow button if you don't want to miss the newest market updates.
1 week from today, we'll be talking about Nvidia, because we haven't really talked about the mega caps all that much since the election, because many of them haven't done quite as well as a lot of the other stuff has in this market. What's the risk going in to this stock and the earnings 1 week from today as it relates to how we think about the mega caps in general?
Yes, Scott, you've asked me pretty much throughout this entire year whether I thought the mega cap tech trade was still going to be the thing to lead us higher and higher. And each time it was a resounding yes for me. And I made the case that until something meaningful happens that comes along and breaks investor psychology, that really forces us to step away from the large cap growth, from the large cap tech names, the rest of large cap growth wouldn't have their opportunity to shine. I think that the tariffs that you guys were just talking about being levied against Chinese corporations and all of the other regulations that we're hearing about coming from the incoming administration that will impact the tech sector, specifically the big tech names, I think that this might be the moment that we turn around and look back at 6 months from now, where we say that's where the mega cap tech trade was broken. I'm not exactly ready to proclaim that for sure just yet, but I definitely am getting concerned that this might be the place where mega cap tech starts to decelerate and someone else takes up the helm, maybe financials, for example.
Court, last point to you. You can react to that, right? As I said, a week from today, we're going to be consumed with Nvidia.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest risk there is just it has such a high bar, right? I mean, that has been driving the markets. It is one of the largest parts of the S&P 500 right now. You're seeing over 30% of the S&P is just your technology companies. And I think that is the concern, is if you see this rotation or this broadening happening and other money is going elsewhere, that can bring down the overall indices. I don't think it's ending here yet, but yeah, I just don't think we want to be throwing money at it.
While risks like supply chain dependencies loom due to satellite companies like Supermicrocomputer SMCI, the symphony of support for Nvidia is encapsulated in enthusiastic tweets from patrons of AI evolution. On the flip side, public options activity suggests a divided sentiment. Of note, 61 puts opposed by 224 calls for Nvidia amount to nearly 32 million, an intriguing tug-of-war between bullish and bearish outlooks. These groundbreaking options trends beckon cautious yet excited introspection into Nvidia's strategic maneuvers. But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
In the meantime, shares of Nvidia up nearly 3% today for its fourth straight day of gains. It is now up more than 40% from its August 5th lows, less than 10% from its all-time high. The chipmaker kicking off its three-day AI summit this morning. Morgan Stanley reiterating the stock as an overweight rating. Guy?
I think it was a super micro move if you throw that one up. But, we've talked about this. I think Carter talked about it last week. You're in this pennant formation in Nvidia. It's going to break one way or the other. Today it shows signs of breaking to the upside, but I still think this pennant is intact. The June 20th level, the formation that Tim sort of alluded to, I think the stock closed above 140 that day and reversed. That's interesting. It's not been broached yet. So the question is, which way does it break? Is it going to break to the upside out of this pennant or the downside? Today's action suggests the upside. We'll see, though. It's not there yet, Mel.
And in the case of Nvidia versus an Apple, I think you obviously have two stocks where I would stay with Carter, and I just don't think the expectations in Apple are that great. Nvidia, we know they're great. And so now we've dealt with some production issues. We've had the company come back and pretty much reassure fourth quarter demand, they're saying is going to be extremely strong. And I get back to the stock, and I get back to even some of the market dynamics that have made Nvidia an outperformer, in addition to those ones that are obviously Nvidia specific. I think the macro supports Nvidia. I think it supports the names where you have growth, and I think the market is less worried about that multiple here.
NVIDIA's story, peppered with innovation, ambition, and strategic focus, paints a compelling picture for potential and current investors. The landscape ahead looks promising, with analysts betting on a 14% price rally driven by a firm grip on AI's future. With the earnings report looming, discerning investors might find NVIDIA's resilience and foresight an irresistible proposition. As shares currently trade at $147.62, accompanied by an observed downturn of negative 0.45%. Professional analysts' average forecast holds bolstered conviction with targets set from $165 to $190. Amid these vivid projections, the question lingers like an enticing whisper in the stock market's ears. Will NVIDIA continue its bullish journey? Its innovative strides appease stakeholders with a promise of potential, making it worthy of contemplation and investment. Share your thoughts with us on NVIDIA's movements, a testament to the beauty of informed investing in an ever-evolving market landscape. And finally, if you would like to know what companies like NVIDIA have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen.